it's good for us to clarify some issues because we don't have as much as the definition of an SM in here. What we have here is more of micro enterprises. Because how many SMEs in Nigeria? Small, medium. So it's good for us to bring in a micro perspective into it. And even aside of that, we also need to bring the informal sector, the market women. You know, largely, how do we place that? The daily buying and selling.
You call them micros.
That's they are micro, I suppose.
Exactly.
Micros.
All right. Now, looking at business development. Now, what sort of skills do you think and someone in the SME sector or someone who wants to start up a business, what kind of skill do you think the person should actually possess? I start with
for me, what we try to do is to classify these skills into three. We have the basic interpersonal skills, we have the personal effectiveness skills, and there's what we call, then the third one is the core competency skills. Let me come from the core competency skills, and that skill has to do with understanding the opportunities in the market first. I mean, before you go into a business, you want to get the right business development skills, you must understand that there are opportunities in the market and there are problems to be solved in the market. When you need that capacity to see problems and classify them as opportunities. So as an SME, if you're not able to do that, then you can't have business development skills. So when you identify those problems that are going to be turned to opportunities, then every other skill becomes what you have to build up. And the first thing that will come is you have to understand what I call industry analysis. In terms of industry analysis, that opportunity you have identified, that market you have identified, what are the dynamics? What do you need to understand about this market? And we always want to use what we call the 7-domain framework by John Mullins to identify opportunities in the market. You need to understand the market in terms of micro and macro. You need to understand the industry. If you look at market, you want to know, are there potential buyers in that market? You also want to know, are there potential sellers in that market? Then in terms of, the third one is you look at the team. The team, do you have the right people to go into the market with you? So once you're able to identify this in line with the opportunities, making sure there is a market for that idea, making sure that you are not going to have stiff competition in that market, making sure you have the right skill and the right people, then you go into the market, you now start talking about, okay, I need to develop selling skills. What we say for SMEs, as real estate people will say, location is the most important thing for real estate. We also tell SMEs, marketing is key for them. So one of the core skills they can develop and they should develop is marketing skills. I think I'll leave Edward to treat some of the other ones, otherwise I'll keep rolling.
All right, talking about marketing skills now, I know that that has to do with your relationship with people, perhaps customer relationship with people, and we know that some people really don't have such. There are people who are blessed with, who are very outgoing people, who are people oriented, and there are people who find it difficult to actually reach out to people. For such category of people who find it difficult to reach out to people, now you want to do a business, how do you go about it? How do you begin to develop such a skill, the marketing skills, talking about the marketing skills?
Well, again, marketing skills are key for any enterprise. We also have this cliche we use. We say you either sell or you die. The big guys have to keep selling. The small SMEs also have to sell to remain in business. Now, some persons may say, okay, I'm not cut out for marketing, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to run a small business in Nigeria, you need to know and understand marketing. Again, we have issues to do with some temperament. Some say, okay, I think marketing is good for some of the sanguine guys, but I'm a male, or I'm something, I'm not cut out. But we must learn these things. We must acquire those skills deliberately. People that are good at it, they were not born with it. So when we do marketing trainings, for instance, I tell people, if you are very serious about marketing, how many books have you read on marketing? How many training have you gone for on marketing? So some of these skills have to be acquired deliberately.
Okay, and that will be through training.
Yeah, through training,
of course. But there are certain qualities that are actually also needed. For instance, patience.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you also have to acquire that? You begin to learn to be patient.
When you take it to the other part, like I said, there are 3 key areas you need to look at when you're developing, when you want to develop businesses. I mean, you need to develop your interpersonal skills, you need to develop your personal effectiveness skills, then the core competence skills, the marketing, the sales, the accounting, the project management, the risk management, having technical knowledge. All of those things come under the core competence skills. So I really want to talk about personal effectiveness skills. So for you to be able to sell effectively, you must develop the communication skills. Because the truth is, in as much as you have understanding of your product, you have an understanding of how it's going to work, you need to relate it to people. You need to communicate the vision of that product in terms of the benefit especially. So you have to develop communication skills. You need to understand it's not about you trying to sell a product people don't understand. You need to present the product to them or the service to them in a way they understand it. So communication skill has to be developed. Then also other skills you need to develop is goal setting. You need to be able to develop, set your goals, set your priorities, this business, where do I want it to be? Because sometimes when you look at that, if I don't market, it means I'm not going to eat. We need to understand that dimension, and SMEs need to understand that if you don't sell, there's no way you can grow your business. So developing those personal effectiveness skills, I've talked about communication, there is an area of personal development, there's an area of networking, that's very key also for you to be able to say. Sometimes you don't necessarily need to be a sanguine, just the people you know. We use what we call the frog principle. For you to grow your business, you need to start with your friends,
relatives,
organizations, and the government. So with your friends alone, you can start, utilizing those personal effectiveness skills with them to communicate with them, tell them about your product. Once they buy into it, then you're good to go.
Now, I want to take you up on the goal setting issue.
All right.
For some business starters, they find it difficult really streamlining what they really want to do, the objective of whatever it is they want to do, what they want to achieve, and that how do you begin to set your goals really for a business person?
Yeah, Edward?
Well, again, goal setting from inception is always never going to be clear. But you have to set that as something. Most SMEs and entrepreneurs in Nigeria started off probably, maybe they lost a job or probably from a passion. But again, ultimately, it's always about survival, making money. So one of the key goals you see for the SME owner or for the entrepreneur is always wanting to make money, which is not always true, which shouldn't be the case. People say if your business is just about making money, then you're not in business. So if you set a goal, it's just like driving, for instance. You may not be able to know how far you will go, but if you finish a particular stretch, the next stretch opens up for you. Okay. So you may say, one of my goals is to say, I don't want to shut down in 3 years. I want to beat the mortality statistics in Nigeria. So I want to do enough to see that curve. Then again, I want to grow my revenue. Then again, I want to improve my brand image. Then again, but again, it must start from somewhere. Say, okay, I want to meet a need. That's a goal. I want to make this amount of revenue, which will be shown in your business plan, for instance, and that keeps you going, short term, probably a year. Then if you finish that, you plan again. And the more of that you do, the more confident you are to take a bigger goal, to attach more than just revenue. I want to branch out, I want to raise funds. Those are goals for every business. I want to add more personnel. So all of those goals may not be clear at inception, but immediately you kick off and you keep taking it chunk by chunk, the other ones opens up.
All right.
Let me just quickly pick something from Edward said, because you said in terms of how can they really set goals to achieve them. The first thing for an entrepreneur is, there's a word you use there, identifying that need. So that for us as entrepreneurs, we started businesses, we try to develop other businesses. But the truth is, if you don't set goals, you can wear out. If as an SME, because sometimes we try to say, okay, there's opportunity here, let me take advantage of this, let me start a company. And if it's not aligned with your core being, what I mean by your core being is, why are you going into business? Some things need to be specifically defined. Why am I going into business? Okay, I want to meet a need. What particular need do I want to meet? That's why in terms of looking at the market domain strategy, you need to identify your target market. Once you identify your target market, you know the products they want, you know the services they want, it helps to streamline your goals. You can serve everybody. As SME, when you're starting, you think we used to say in terms of the industrial age and the knowledge economy, it used to be